All right, hey guys, Jason here. Today we're going to talk about the difference between buy rate and sell rate at dealerships. Many people don't understand this. I've done a few videos lately where I've mentioned that and gave some examples, and people keep questioning it. So let me break it down for you what we're talking about here. Now we're up here at a great dealership. This is where am I at? I can't see the sign, but I'm up here all the time. Oh my God, Jimmy Britt. We're at Jimmy Britt in Statesboro. This is a Jeep Ram dealer I'm at. Usually you see me over there. Reason we're over here today is because I just see they just got a brand new Mojave in that color 41 that I love, and they got one of my favorite cars ever made. I'm a 911 fan, but look at that right there. Man, talk about an engineering marvel and just a dream to drive. All these people like, I love the roar of a V8, man. This is where it's at for me. This is just pure beauty and perfection in every kind of level, as far as I'm concerned. If I ever hit a lotto, or if I ever struck it rich for some reason, you can bet a 935 would be something that I would have tucked away somewhere. But we got this beautiful Mojave right here, and let's say you were gonna buy this. Let's just say that this was a truck you wanted to buy, and you were coming in, you're like, I love the color 41, I love this thing's amazing. They don't have a window sticker on it. They did it one time, and I'll bet if they did right here, it would say $57,000 right there on a window sticker, just like that. 57 grand is what it would say right there. So you're looking at this thing and you're like, okay, $57,000, we can do that. You go in, you talk to the dealership, you're gonna do all the stuff, you're gonna get things rolling, he's gonna ask you for a credit app, he's gonna run it, and he's gonna come back and he's gonna tell you that your credit on this is gonna come in at 9%. You're like, man, dang, the administrations, Biden, Trump, whatever the case is, I can't believe it's this way now, and it's everything, you guys gonna be like, yeah, $7 for eggs, this sucks, and you're like, it was what it is, and you're gonna sign it, you're gonna buy it. Okay, was it really 9%? Was that the deal? Was it really 9%? How do you know? So here's what really happens. Most of the time, you walk in and you tell him, run your credit and see what you can get me. He goes, okay, we'll do that. He walks in the back, calls up the bank, and he says, hey bank, Joe here wants to buy this Mojave for $57,000. He's gonna buy it for $57,000. He's gonna put 7 grand down, so we're gonna finance 50 grand. We're finance $50,000 on this, and he wants to know what his credit rate is going to be. They say, okay, well, we'll give him a loan based on his credentials, his credit score, and all that kind of stuff. We'll give it to him at 5.5%. And so you're like, you don't know this. He's back in the back room doing this. So they come back, the finance guy says bank tells him 5.5%. Bank writes up your paperwork for you and everything, and he brings it out to you, and he sets it in front of you, and he's like, hey Joe, here's the deal. This is here's the payment, here's all this kind of stuff, we got all this, but here's the interest rate on it, here's right here, and you're looking and you're like, ooh, 9%. He's like, yeah, that's the world we live in today. Biden, Trump, groceries, the way that pumpkins don't grow very well anymore, and how corn takes up too much room, and that's the way we deal with this stuff today. Remember, eggs are $7 a dozen now, 9% is normal. You're like, man, that sucks, and you buy it. What he did is he told you buy rate, which was a rate that the bank gave him, and then he gave you the sell rate. The sell rate is a rate that he sold it to you for, which was 9%. So what happens then? He got a rate from the bank of 5.5, but he got you to take the rate at 9. So what happens there? Well, we got a 3.5% difference in there. So once you sign the papers, you get in your beautiful new Mojave and you drive away and you're like, oh, vroom, 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 this is great. He calls up the bank and he says, hey, for Joe there, you gave me a 5.5% buy rate, and we did a sell rate for him at 9%, so that's 3.5%, 3.5% of $50,000. Cut my check, send it to me tomorrow to the dealership, please. And they say, oh, great, we'll do. So the dealership makes 3.5% of your $50,000. So he walks away with, like, whatever it is, I'm guessing, I'm doing the math in my head, like $1,700, I'm guessing, in his pocket, extra on the deal that you paid him that you don't know about, but because you financed that thing for 72 months, it's going to come out costing you like $3,500. It's going to cost you a lot more than what it's going to cost, than what he made. But he doesn't even tell you any of this. This just happens. You don't even know what happens. That's the difference between buy rate and sell rate. Now, before those of you guys that start jumping in and saying, I'll never let that happen because I get my own financing through my credit union, or I pay cash. We do love that. We do love that. And if you can, that's fantastic. So here you are. Let me give you the next scenario. You're working this thing, and remember that price we set on here, right here, $57,000 that you saw right there? $57,000 for this thing, and you're like, yeah. And then you start working the deal, and you're like, look, I see these online here, and I've been shopping them around, and you got to do better than that, and we need to come down. And next thing you know, you're coming in, and you're at $49,000. You're $8,000 off. You're like, I am working these guys. This is taking me a day. I'm going fantastic. We're at $49,000 on a $57,000 truck. This is perfect. I love it. We're good to go. He says, all right, let's do this. And you're like, yes, let's do this. He says, all right, we need to run a credit app for financing. And you say, oh no, I'm doing it through my credit union. He's like, whoa, hold on. Sorry, the $8,000 off is only if you finance it through us. Sorry, we won't give you that deal if you're gonna finance it through somebody else. You're like, why? Buy rate versus sell rate. He wants his $1,700 on there. He's not going to give you that deal. He needs to get that. Plus, he gets the incentives through the banks for doing the financing through them, which is an extra cut. It's a whole nother topic. So they get these benefits, and they're like, no. You finance it through us, or so that we get our stuff on the back end, or you don't get the deal. And you say, well, it doesn't work that way. And they say, yes, it does. You either finance it through us, or you buy it for the full MSRP of $57,000. You turn around and walk away, and they either take it or they don't. But usually they'll be like, fine, let them go, because it's not worth it. We'll wait, somebody else is going to buy it. It's color 41 and it's a Mojave. People want this. So somebody else will buy it. You lost the deal. What if you come in and you say the same thing with cash? Okay, that's perfect. $49,000 on 57, $8,000 off. We're ready to go. Let's do this. All right, I'll cut you a check right now. Hold. No. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. That offer only happens if you are financing it through us. See, this is the thing that you're going to run into. Yet the comments on my YouTube channel will all be like, oh, pay cash. Always pay cash. Always finance it yourself. And I get that when you can. But that's people that are buying at MSRP or whatever maybe certain incentives is. But even Jeep, when you look at if Jeep's given a $5,000 incentive on this, that $5,000 incentive will only happen if you finance it through Jeep. If you try to finance it through somebody else, you will not get that incentive. Okay, this stuff happens all the time. Not on every vehicle and not all the time, but it happens very, very often. So this is how they get you. Okay, this is how you're stuck. How do you beat that? What do you do about that? How do you beat that deal? Okay, so what you do is you take the financing, and so if you're going to pay cash for it, you take the financing and then you turn around and you just go pay it off the next day. Now, some of them, I remember Ford even at one time had it where you could not even pay the vehicle off within 6 months without losing those incentives. Now, I don't know if that was ever enforced back then or if they ever could, but it was because they were like, we gave you $7,000 off on their F-150, but then it's financed through us, and because the terms were it had to be financed through us, you cannot refinance it for 6 months. So things like that matter. So you have things you got to take into consideration, but it's all a game to get you. Buy rate versus sell rate. And the hidden games that dealers play. You may or may not find a way around them. Some people might tell you that they have found ways around them. Some vehicles might let you do that. Some brands might let you. Some dealership might let you. But often, they got you by the cojones. There's no way to walk around this. So the best bet that I have found is to take whatever the financing they tell me is and then turn around and pay it off immediately, and then you walk away from it and you don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. So that's it. Or if they're going to tell you that and you're going to say, well, no, you got to finance it through us, say, got it, not a problem. We're at $48,000. Let's do that. I'm going to put $40,000 down. Wait a minute. Hey, I'm still financing it through you, still doing the thing we're doing, still playing the game, and you can play that with them too and see if you can make that work. And then you put $40,000 down, finance 8, pay that off a month later and walk away from it if you want to, or whatever the case is. So there's options for these kind of things to beat that. Now, there's also a trick you can do for the sell rate versus buy rate when you know it's sell rate versus buy rate. Okay, because all dealers do that. So here you are working this deal, and you're going to finance it anyway, and you're going to finance it through the dealership, and he comes back and he tells you, he's like, well, we're going to give you 9% on this. We're at $49,000 on there, or $50,000, we'll call it $50,000, and we're going to give it to you, and it's, the rate's 9%. And you're like, the rate is not 9%. You're giving me sell rate and you're comparing it to buy rate. I want to know what my buy rate is. I already know what it is through my credit unions, and I know what all this stuff is, and I want the legit information on what your buy rate is. Don't just tell me I want it shown to me. He comes back and says, well, your buy rate's 6%. Okay? You're like, okay. 6%. So you're making 3% on it. You're at $1,700. Let's just say that you're $1,500, $50,000. You're making an extra $1,500 by doing this. We were at $49,000. You're going to make $1,500 on here. How about I give you an extra $1,000 back, which would be most of what you would get from the buy rate, and you give me the 6% and you forget the buy rate on there. We can do that. See, because now you're educated and you know, and it's there for you. Now they know that they can get their money up front that they would have got when they called the bank and said, hey, Joe just bought this truck, 50 grand. I want my 3% of my 50 grand. Give it to me. You can negotiate that because you have the knowledge of what they're doing in there. When they realize that, they are willing to negotiate in there too. You tell them, hey, you were going to make $1,500. I'll give you $1,000 back. Let me keep my credit going and let me not have to pay stupid high interest rates for the next 6 years on this vehicle that you're doing this for. Usually that will work. So these are tactics that can help you. This is buy rate versus sell rate, and you can use it to your advantage. And if you're watching this, notice I gave most of the good tips at the end of this. It's kind of how I do stuff sometimes, so you got to watch it, because usually as I'm talking, the best parts don't hit me till later on. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you watched all the way through, you got some great information. And as always, thanks for watching. Questions, comments, put them below.